President Jacob Zuma have hit KwaZulu-Natal, leaving a trail of destruction. And we now get reaction from Gladwin Malishe, who is the Durban Chamber of Commerce and Industry Deputy President. Good evening, and thank you so much for your time tonight. Let's just begin with the impact that these ongoing protests have had on the business community.
Good evening, and good evening to your viewers. Thank you for having us as a Durban Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Well, our members have been affected very much by what is happening. Many of them had to close very early yesterday. We hear now a number of them won't open tomorrow because of the WhatsApp messages that are going around threatening violent protests that are going to be happening. So for the safety of their workers, they're deciding to close. But all of this is impacting negatively on our economy, as well as the impact that it might have on the foreign direct investment. We know that KZN is one of the destinations that foreign direct investment is actually attracting a lot of people to come and put their money. But if we can't have a solid government as well as a peaceful country, we won't have these people coming into our province. So those are the things that are affecting us very much, hence why we are now calling on the president to intervene directly, if it needs be, to call on the military to be part of making sure there's peace in our road, especially the N3 corridor, which is one of the busiest corridors that we have.
I'm going to talk to you then about some of the interventions just a little later on in this conversation, but I'd like to really latch on to something that you've said there, because you say that some of the investors then may then be skeptical about investing further. Certainly, this will then have a knock on the economy then, because it may just stall economic activity.
Absolutely. Nobody can put his money where the situation is tense and where people can just, ban stuff, trucks, properties, and people are quiet about it. So people want a stable government, people who can take charge. Right now, the concern about business is that as much as we've been calling on the law enforcement, there's a little that we see in terms of action from their side. We do not want to put them under pressure, but we want to see action. We want to see businesses being protected. Businesses are not part of what is happening. They need to be protected. We are coming from level 5 last year to level 1, and we are back to level 4. Many of them won't survive this. They've been using their reserves to make sure their staff are paid. They are using their reserve to start again their businesses, and now we have this. So many of them won't be able to start their businesses again. Many of them won't be able to hire people for new opportunities. It means that now, if you look at the numbers that we see of unemployment, we will see an increase in that. An increase in that means an increase in poverty. So we are, as a Durban Chamber, are saying we need to do something, and we're being proactive to tell the politicians to say, do something about this thing, otherwise we are losing investors.
And when you talk about the devastating impact that the pandemic has had on those businesses then who you say are also even battling right now to make ends meet, let's talk about whether or not you've been able to quantify the damage that has been caused to some of these properties then so far.
So far, we're still assessing the situation. We know a number of trucks, about 20-something, have been burnt. We are still looking in terms of what happened from the pandemic last year, but we know tourism has been affected very much. If you go to the beachfront and you look at the shops that are closed, you go to the shopping malls and look at the shops that are closed, we don't have the actual numbers, but you can tell by the number of people who are sitting at home. You can tell by the traffic in the road that the pandemic has hit very, very hard, especially in the tourism sector. Now that we are trying to survive, we are trying to restart the economy again for recovery. This is what is happening. So we are very scared, because we know that our fiscals won't be able to assist businesses to start new businesses or to fund those who have actually lost trucks in the road. It's important, therefore, for us to be the voice of business and do say that let it be calm, let people stop what they're doing. If they need to sit on the table, we are saying that we can assist in terms of, saying that people must sit on the table and talk. We have, in this country, obtain our democracy through sitting and talking. We believe that even today we can do that. We are not part of what is happening. We are not a political organization, but we know that if we keep quiet, a lot of wrong is going to happen in our country.
Now, Gladwin, some people, when you see some of the videos on social media, say that, oh no, I mean, these are business people. They've got access to insurance and they can be able to put in a claim and recoup some of the money lost. But it's not as simple as that, is it?
It is not. Let me share one experience. There was a young gentleman, a black guy, who's got a couple of trucks. His truck was on the N3 at Moy River. It was one of the trucks that were banned. He is still owing the bank. His insurance was not up to scratch. He knows that he needs to pay back the bank. Because of that, he's losing a truck, he's losing a load, he's losing a driver. So it's not really that people have insurances to cover them when the situation like this happen. We have got young people, especially SMMEs like this guy, whose truck is gone. He owes the bank 1.8 million rands. He needs to pay it. As he's paying it, he still have a family to feed. So it's not as simple as that. Other businesses, yes, they might have that, but especially the SMMEs, they are not on that level. And that's where we actually are hiring many people. Our SMME are hiring a lot of people. And if those are the people who are affected, it means a lot of people are going to lose jobs.
I was about to say that because, as you know, when you describe that, that particular business person that you're talking about, and the reality then of the difficulties that he finds himself in tonight, he's not the only one. And the reality of job losses here is as real as daylight.
It is as real as daylight. Not only him, you've got shops that have been looted. People now need to find a way of buying a new stock. Not only that, with the delay on the N3, that will actually cause a price rise, and people can't afford those prices. We know our population is not working, most of it. Others depend on the SASSA grant. If now, because of these issues that we are having, we increase the prices at the till, it means we're going to run low on the revenue that our government needs to collect. If we don't have enough revenue, that means also we won't be able to pay for our health system, our police, and so on. So there are snowballing effects on these things that people need to look into. Hence why business is saying, let us come out, let us tell people that this thing is not just banning the truck, but it is actually shooting ourselves in the foot. We have been able to do it in the 90s, to sit down and talk. Let us talk and see how we find one another.
And when you're talking and finding one another, it looks though that the demands of some of those that are taking to the streets may not necessarily be met here, because it's a difficult position that is now the rule of law that may then now need to be put under scrutiny, at the same time to try and to find a balance here where you save some of these business people. When you then sit at the table, how do you see these talks playing out in order to reach a solution that pleases everybody here?
As business, we sit on the table mainly with the provincial government, the city, and other MSCs or national government. Ours is to give them a clue as to what is happening on the ground in terms of business. And we tell them exactly that
that line there to Gladwin Malishe really failing us there as we were looking to see there. I do understand that he's back. Gladwin, you were still telling us then how you see the talks playing out.
Yes, as business, we are not a political organization. So ours is to sit with the provincial government, the city, and we share our difficulty that we find ourselves in. Ours is to tell them, say, sit down and find yourselves, find solution on these things and protect the businesses. Businesses are the engine. They are the engine that hire people so people can have food on the table. It's important that they are protected. So we come on that angle. So it is important for them who are affected by whatever that is happening that we can't confirm or deny as business, because no one has actually come to business and say, these are the issues, that's why we are banning the trucks. So for ours is to say to them, we want law and order. We want to see stability. We want to see businesses trading and continuing to do business as usual. So it is important for them to sit on the table and see how they fix all these issues which are there on the table. So for that, that's how the angle we are using as the business, because it's important that we don't mingle with politics and the judiciary and the other stuff. But it is important for them to know that whatever that they are doing, it is affecting the country. It is affecting the food on the table for many families that maybe one person is working. If that person can't wake up and go to work next week, it means there's a family that will sleep without food.
And when you then seek the meetings with the Premier, and he himself is saying that right now that he's calling for some kind of pardon for the former president in order to be able to appease some of these protesters. If you not win at that level, are you then looking to go to a higher level, maybe to the presidency, in order to try and assist some of those who are your members who tonight are really finding themselves in difficult situations?
Well, as a business sector, we decided not to get involved in those discussions. Ours is to say, we are a business, we were doing business. Somehow we woke up, trucks were burning at night. We woke up this morning, shops have been looted. We have not been notified to say these are the issues that the country is faced with. Yes, we are reading on the news. Yes, we are reading on the social medias. But for us, we are standing on saying we are partial in the matter. We want to see business continue doing business. If there are issues that they need to discuss that are political, they must do it as quickly, as fast as possible, because any delay is affecting all the business in South Africa. The Western Corridor carries the life of the economy of this country. Any banning and any delay in that corridor means that our country will be losing revenue. Our country will be losing, somebody will be losing his job or her job. So it's important for them to say, let us fast track whatever discussions we have for the sake of this country. So that's where business comes in.
And tonight, what do you say to a business person who's finding themselves then conflicted, because others have said they're halting operations to your province where you are right now because they simply cannot guarantee the safety of some of their drivers? What do you say to them tonight?
Well, we have started with KZN citizens to share with them that we have a Durban port that attracts people to our province. But they must know that Namibia has a port, Mozambique has a port, Dar es Salaam has a port. There is no need for other countries to use us if we are treating them like this. So it is important for us to know the jewel that we have, and it is important for us to protect it. So we start from there. So for those other businesses who are halting business, we are begging them to say, please, for the couple of days, just be safe. Make sure that you are out there on the road when you know that there is safety, and we are encouraging law enforcement to be visible, and we are saying to them, they must not withdraw from KZN. KZN needs them, and they need us too as KZN. It is important that we find a solution as to how do we work in terms of policing, because it's not only just this matter that is happening now. We know trucks have been banned before. It is important that we find an amicable solution on this thing.
And Gladwin, as a final question tonight on a different note, tomorrow the National Coronavirus Command Council is meeting, and there are some of those who are saying that government should continue with alert level 4, while others are saying that it will continue to hurt their businesses. What are you hoping comes out of that meeting tomorrow?
Well, as business, we are hoping that we won't continue with level 4, maybe we'll go down to level 3, but unfortunately the numbers are going up. People are dying each and every day. But also business cannot continue on level 4 or level 5. Other businesses have died already. Others won't recover. If this continues, it means that we must forget about the recovery plans that we've put in place already. It means we need to start from scratch. If we continue like that, it's going to be difficult for us as business people to put ends meet on the table, for us to start hiring people again. So it's important that whatever command council sit and discuss, how can they enforce maybe our citizens to respect all the laws that have been put there for COVID, people to mask up, people to make sure they sanitize and let the business continue. Because if business is not continuing, this country is going down. We cannot work without business. We will not make it without business. People can't find employment without business. So it's important that business is protected. Whatever decision that they are putting on the table tomorrow, they must consider business as essential.
All right. Thank you so much for your time tonight. That's the Durban Chamber of Commerce and Industry Deputy President Gladwin Malishe.